RFK is expanding and they have their driver. Allegedly. So let's get into it. Coming up next. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing good today. All right, rumors have been out there for a while that RFK might be expanding to a third team, but they're really starting to heat up now. Let's jump right into this quote from Jayski. RFK Racing expected to expand to 3 teams and hire Ryan Preece. RFK Racing is progressing toward expanding to 3 full NASCAR Cup Series teams in 2025, a move that would likely include bringing aboard big-ticket sponsor Kroger as a team-wide sponsor for all 3 cars and signing driver Ryan Preece. Sources briefed on the move told The Athletic. The team, whose ownership group includes Cup champion Brad Keselowski, is expected to make an official announcement in the coming weeks. So Roush expanding to 3 teams would be the first time since 2011 that it has had more than 2 cars. If you want to look at the actual history of Roush, let's run through it real quick. Established in 1998 as a 1-car team, later in the 90s it would expand to a 2-car team with the number 16. I think it was the Family Channel. I think the Family Channel was the first sponsor on that, and it was either Ted Musgrave or Wally Dallenbach off the top of my head. But from there, by 2003, 2004, they were up to 4 teams, and then by 2005, they were up to 5 teams. 2003, 2004, by the way, they did win the championship with Kurt Busch and Matt Kenseth. In 2009, they were forced to go down to a 4-car team, getting rid of the 26 car that was driven by Jamie McMurray. Jamie McMurray went over to Chip Ganassi Racing, so they were down to 4 by 2009. 2011, they would contract once again to a 3-car team, and by 2016, it would be a 2-car team, which it has stayed to until today. And then in 2025, apparently, according to sources, it's going to be a 3-car team once again. And from 1988 to 2022, they have changed names a few times. 1998, it was Roush Racing. 2007, it became Roush Fenway Racing. And then in 2022, with the addition of Brad Keselowski as owner, it became RFK Racing, which is what we know it as today. So obviously that's the rumor out there, but let's see if there are any legs to it. Jumping back to The Athletic here. We don't have any announcements that we're ready to make, but hopefully we'll have something to share with everybody here the next month or so. Keselowski told The Athletic on Wednesday during NASCAR Playoff Media Day, but nothing publicly that I'm ready to talk about. Goes on to say whether RFK is actually acquiring or leasing a charter is unclear, but the new third team will not operate as an open car due to the financial hit that would entail, as it cost an additional several $1 million to run a full-time without a charter. So there you go, Brad Keselowski not really necessarily being coy, basically saying, yeah, we got something cooking, but we're not ready to talk about it just yet, is the way that I took those particular comments. So I think it's basically official that, they are going to have a third team. He's just not ready to talk about it or make that announcement just yet. And also what's interesting is that it would be a chartered team, and whether they lease that charter or whether they actually are buying a charter, maybe that front row charter or wherever they would get another charter from, they are going to run a chartered team over there, because otherwise it would be a significant financial hit to run a full-time team without the charter for a full season. Of course, there are more factors to this. Let's go back to that first quote where it said Kroger is going to be a part of the team. And because Kroger is going to be a part of the team and they're, expanding because they've got that Kroger sponsorship, it has also led to speculation that the driver is going to be Ryan Preece. Now, a lot of people are saying, how come Ryan Preece would be the favorite driver over there when there are so many other drivers to pick from? Well, I think the sponsor ties into that, but I'll let Bob Pockrass answer that better than I can here. Bob Pockrass responding to Bruce Halverson here. Kroger and Ryan Preece had a strong relationship when he was at JTG, so if RFK lands Kroger deal, adds third Cup car, Preece is considered a strong candidate. Kroger also had Buescher at JTG. JTG has been preparing for Kroger possibly leaving, so shouldn't impact its 2025 plans. So there you go. Kroger has a good relationship with both Chris Buescher and Ryan Preece from their days at JTG Daugherty Racing. That seems to be why there is so much fire, so much smoke about Ryan Preece driving the car over there at Roush Fenway. But looking through and reading through Twitter, a lot of people are not super excited about having Ryan Preece drive that car. And there are two sides to this argument. One side is Ryan Preece hasn't been in good equipment since he got to Cup. Even when he's been with good teams like SHR, it's been a down year for SHR. So all of his time at SHR is throwaway time because he still hasn't been in a good car over there at SHR. And then there's the counter argument that Ryan Preece drove for SHR. Look what everybody else at SHR is doing. How come he can't do what everybody else at SHR is doing? So there's both sides of the argument. Me personally, for my 2 cents or whatever, Ryan Preece, he's really good in modifieds. I think he's a really good race car driver. Brad Keselowski has a really good eye for talent. If, and I emphasize if, this is who he's going with, he's probably seen enough of what he needs to see, and he thinks that Ryan Preece will be good. And just for what it's worth, you probably could have said the exact same thing about Chris Buescher before Brad Keselowski brought him in. So if Brad Keselowski does bring in Ryan Preece, if he is the candidate that they're going to bring in with that third car, if the third car happens, so many variables here. I think Brad Keselowski knows what he's doing, to make a long story short or longer. I don't know. And finally, how does this affect JTG Daugherty? A lot of people thinking they'll close the doors and, shut down and, they won't be a thing anymore. So let's jump into that. Once again, from Bob Pockris, who's answering RPM fan 43 Randy, who said, what happens to JTG if ownership pulls out along with Kroger? Does the team fold or new ownership comes in? To which Bob Pockris said, I went to the JTG shop in May, and from the work, apparent investment being done there by Gordon Smith, who was quoted in the Stenhouse contract extension news release as the team owner, I expect them to continue on regardless of what happens with Kroger. And I couldn't have said it better myself. They've signed Ricky Stenhouse Jr. to an extension, so I'd expect JTG Daugherty to continue pushing on at least for one more year, if not multiple more years. They're trying to get things lined up sponsorship-wise, whether or not the guest checkers, I think I said their last name right, move on or not, or whatever happens with that. Looks like Gordon Smith is going to keep things pushing over there. And Brad Daugherty, according to Bob Pockris in a different tweet that I read, but I forgot to screenshot it, he is expected to stay on with JTG or whatever it's going to be renamed if it gets renamed as well. All right, that's all I got for you on this one. We'll see if it actually comes true. Seems like there's a lot of smoke to this one, to this particular fire, so I'm leaning toward this is probably going to happen. But, let me know down below what you think about it. If you got a question, comment, or anything like that, like I said, leave it down below. If you made it this far, I would love to have your subscription. If not, I'll keep making these things. If you're already subscribed, I appreciate you all as well. If you want to visit the merch store, the link is in the description, or you can go to this QR code right here. And if you put a hat in the cart, the t-shirts are free at checkout. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace.